what was your job profile at Xavier Technologies, Numpy?
Hi, sorry, I could just hear you now, and I was adjusting my mic.
Okay. So, what was your job profile at Xavier Technologies?
Okay, so I was an executive there, and meanwhile, when I was working there, I gradually improved my working skills, and I was promoted at the end as a SME, like subject matter expert.
Okay. Then, what was the internship at Livewire Events and Promos?
Okay, so that was my, you can say, education skills where I wanted to actually go into live events and management. I pursued my graduation, you can say post graduation diploma in events and management, and I could, like had experience in events. Later, there was a COVID situation. Because of that, all the events were shut down, and meanwhile, in that tenure, I just wanted to grab some pocket money because I was sitting still at home and I cannot sit still. So I pursued some job at Xavier. And meanwhile, when I was researching, I could understand myself very well, and I wanted to take my, you can say, resume or update my resume to a technical view.
Hmm. So, you learned Python and data analysis, right?
Yes, I learned Python and data analysis at Python Academy.
Okay. So, how do you think the event organization skills will help you in the data analyst profile?
Uh, I surely know that data is big data. So if I'm into an event industry, so there also we can analyze things and we can definitely take care of what is going wrong. And if we can definitely have collective data regarding events, we can definitely go through it and do all the I mean apply all the knowledge what I have learned from Python Academy as data analyzing and visualizations. So we can definitely have a bit of idea that what exactly is going on, or how the events can be more interesting, and how we can attract the audience there.
No, what I said was
Hmm.
if you get into technical IT company
Okay.
as a data analyst,
Hmm.
how do you think that experience will be helping you over here?
So basically, I'm not thinking of going back to events because that was my
Yeah, I know.
interest. But if now here in, if you ask me about this, so data analytics will definitely help us in any terms. Like this is a vast thing, and it it already has to do everything with the data. So data might be anything. You just have to
No, I'm
analyze.
not saying.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting the question.
Okay.
When you're working into a company as a data analyst, how do you think your past experience as an organizer will help you in the current job profile?
Okay, so I have just added that experience, but I am going to start as a fresher in any company. It was my experience just to tell the interviewer or tell the person that I have, you can say, a little bit of experience in my past, where I
Mhm.
can go through, you can say into a computer, sorry, into a company, what basics are expected from us. So I have been through that. So that was just an interest. So I have stated
Okay.
that in the resume.
Okay. So I'll get back to that into the end.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So is Python a dynamic language?
Yes, it is.
What do you mean by dynamic language?
So dynamic language is it's like there are multiple languages. You can say the types of languages is different. So you can say it's um, unary languages involved there. There are data types that are of different types, and there are many we can say operations which can be done with strings, which can be done with float, which can be done with integers and numbers. So any kind of information is important, and as it is different kind of languages, you can say it can involve string as well as float, as well as integer, as well as any kind of numbers, binary, boolean. anything.
That's how is that related to dynamic language? What do you
Mm.
mean by dynamic and a static language, right? There's the two types of languages. So when I say Python is a dynamic language, what does that mean?
So, according to my knowledge, I believe dynamic understands that it's like you can say multi languages which can be used and worked on.
No, that means it supports other languages. That is
Mm-hmm.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fine. So how many? It says your skill says Python libraries. So what kind of libraries you know?
So I know that there are libraries known as NumPy Pandas, NUMPY, then it's
Mhm.
Pandas. Then there is one more that is Matplotlib. These are libraries that we use to check the data and we can even edit it, edit as in you can say I guess edit is not the right word but I would definitely say that if there are some nan values or if there is anything that it is sort of like pre-processing of the data,
Mhm.
so
So
we
how do
can
we
use these.
pre-process the data?
Sorry.
What's the general ideal idea? As in, if I get a raw data, what's the
Mm-hmm.
first step before putting it into machine learning algorithms?
So we need to clean the data, whatever are the important factors according to the domain manager. Uh, what it should be considered, we can take that. And if there are any nan values, we should remove all the nan values and at least make it zero. Or if it is not needed, we should delete the. I mean not delete it, but we can make a different data set where we can. Set the important things or important factors on which we have to do a calculation or you can say analysis um, on the terms which are explained to us by the domain master. If not, then according to us what we can understand is important, we have to keep all that data with zero values, I mean with the correct values, as well as there should be no none values. That is the most important factor, I believe.
Okay. Then after processing,
Mm-hmm.
what do we do next?
We There are many techniques that are designed. People usually go according to what is required, but there is a trial and error method that we have to do, or you can say we can apply the knowledge according to what analysis we are trying to get through. So there are some things that you can say we can use NumPy, that is the numeric Python, as well as Pandas for there are little operations where we can uh, you can say we can use standard deviations, we can use mm,
No,
mean and
mean
mean.
different. What you are, this is very vague answer. The answer is when you get a raw data, you first
Mhm.
make it structured because
Yes.
mostly raw data will be unstructured. These are the terminologies which you use
Okay.
because algorithms do not do not understand, will not work with unstructured data. So you make it structured. Structured means cleaning data and removing null values or adjusting null values according to the mean, mode, median, or
Yes,
whatever
mean.
statistical techniques. So what you
Exactly.
said is no. What you are saying is completely vague, right? So these answers will not hold up. And when
Okay.
you are talking technical things, you cannot say
Mm-hmm.
I believe and so on
Okay.
because technical is either right or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So this shows the interviewer that you're not completely sure about what you're saying when you
Okay.
say things like I believe. Okay.
Okay.
So point number two.
Uh-huh.
Then whenever someone asks you about this, what happens before machine learning algorithms or cleaning, there's a standard way of saying it, right? I mean, not the predefined thing, but it's sometimes it should be like this: that you get the raw data, you make it eligible for the machine learning algorithms, you find the insights from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is that. Then you make it ready, you clear the dummies, right?
Okay. And
So
can we even say that we use some techniques like data wrangling and sort of like do
data
we have to
wrangling
mention?
itself is a what we are saying is also data wrangling.
Mm-hmm.
Data wrangling is different. I mean, it's not different, but again an umbrella term, right?
Yes.
So whatever I said also comes in data wrangling, right? So at the end, you get the algorithm. You should know, you should search more technical things before.
Terms, yeah, exactly. To
Yeah,
speak the technical language here.
and mostly it also it comes with practice. Solve as many data as you can. Have you solved credit risk analysis without any guidance?
No. To be very frank to you, no. I am still
I think
going
you
through
had,
it.
yeah, you were just passed out in June, right?
Yeah,
So I will
just
not
now, like.
assume, of course, it's fine. I'll not assume that you have done it
Mm-hmm.
because you're just fresher, I can say.
Yeah, so I
What
am
I would
taking
suggest,
baby steps to learn it, and
yeah, yeah, it's okay.
basically,
It's okay.
credit. Yeah.
The next step of what I want you to do is all the assignments and everything you got should be done by you without any supervision, without referring things.
Okay.
Then everything becomes very clear. And while you answer in the interview,
Mm-hmm.
the confidence is shown because interview preparation is not a 1 or 2 day job. It
Exactly.
comes with errors, right?
Yes.
Now I'll just ask few more questions and then
Sure.
we'll stop it.
Yeah, sure.
So, okay. So, how did you use SQL in Python?
So this
Which
language,
package?
Oracle, it was an online thing. Oracle Live Skills. So we used to code there
S-
on that
Okay.
platform.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, how would you rate yourself in Python programming, as in using logical questions like for loop, while loop? How good are you that? Good are you at that part?
So I am not a master, but I would
Of course.
try to rate
Nobody is going to
myself
be a
to.
master even after 5 years. That's
Yeah.
fine.
So I would just because this is a starting, so I have to learn on like the
Hmm.
world is too deep with the data. I would say I would hardly give myself a rating of 1.5 maybe
It's
because.
okay. It's okay. It's fine, right?
Mm-hmm,
So, okay. So my next thing to tell you that, and the answer I was expecting is that since you were event organization
mm-hmm,
in the event organizing, which I felt personally that it's a good thing, right? So this you would have said that in data analysis, when you need to organize things for you and your team, you will have the same skill required as you required in the event organization, right? So you already that is going to be useful
mm-hmm.
because organizing your study table and also requires step by step processes. So it shows you that shows something that that skills can be used. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
technicalities and tools are
Different, yeah.
different,
But
but
this was a
your
good point to
mindset,
accept, yeah.
that's what I said. That's what I wanted to hear,
Hmm.
right? I'm not saying that you're going to getting hired based on that, and you are I don't want you to link the data with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could understand that because I don't wanted to present myself in
It's
negative
fine that
side.
you did that, right?
Yeah.
Suppose that diploma in events, so it shows that you have some organization experience. It may be
Experience,
different
yeah.
sectors, yeah, but again, this is varied from person to person.
Yeah, the perspective is a
Yeah, the
different difference.
perspective will be different. Okay, so
Yeah.
what I would suggest is add more uh, things, as in problem solving skills.
Okay.
Solve more problems on hacker rank and
Okay.
code chef. Mention the stars you receive over here
Hmm.
because that shows how active you are.
Okay. Okay.
And the projects which you have done, the credit risk analysis and on or any other which you will do in the future from Kaggle or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, just keep them adding in the kaggle.com, sorry, in the
CV.
github.com,
Okay. Okay.
and
GitHub.
then add the github link in your CV,
Uh-huh.
right?
Okay.
So that again adds few things and make it clickable, because if someone opens the PDF, I should be able to click and go and check what you have done.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Okay, so that's it from my side.
All
Thank you.
right. Can I just catch your name? I could not. Maybe I was adjusting my microphone at that time.
Yeah, yeah, fine. You can get it from Sanket later on.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Give me a brief about the project you have mentioned, credit risk analysis.
Sir, in credit risk analysis, uh, we have to take a data from any financial institution. For example, consider a bank, and then we have to analyze the data, and we have to feed it to the system we have made, and we have to find out whether the candidate mentioned in the list are eligible for a particular loan or credit or not.
That's the objective, right?
Yes.
I want you to tell me what you did inside. That's the objective which anyone will tell you. But you have performed the project. So what happened when you took the data and how did you reach at the conclusion? That's what I want to know.
Yes. First of all, we imported the file from the server, and then we rearranged the data, and then by applying loop, we found out that if the credit score of that particular candidate, CIBIL score of that candidate is a meeting uh, or actually we can say that is that credit limit is meeting or or you can say test data, and then we actually I'm not unable to recall it.
Yeah, but when you mention it in the resume, people assume that you have done that,
Yes.
right?
Actually, sir, I am still working on it. I have completed it, but I am still lagging in some terminologies of particular
Not
that.
terminologies. You have to know entire flow of it, right? So what
Yes.
happens? You split the data into test and train. Then what is train data? What is test data? Where do you put the train data? Where do you put the test data? And so on. You should know these things, right?
Yes.
And secondly, you have mentioned credit list analysis. What is credit list
Yes.
analysis?
Uh, credit list. Credit list is, sir, like whom, as I explained, credit list analysis is like making a list of candidates who are eligible for that credit.
So both are different, right? Credit risk and credit list.
Yes.
I don't think so. Can you explain credit list? Is that another project or what?
No, I think it is same. Both
Yeah,
are
so
same. Credit
remove
risk
that.
and credit list both are same.
Okay, so the ATM machine, developing a code for cash dispensing machine. So what
Yes.
code and what language? You have to mention that.
Python, sir. Using Python.
So how did you do it? Can you give me a brief in 1 minute?
First of all, we have to mention the count. I have done it using while and for loop, combination of while and for loop. So basically, you have to first in interpreter Python. I used kernel for it, Anaconda. So first of all, you have to type count, how many counts you have to give the candidate, or how many times he can enter the pin. So if he enters the pin 3 times or more than 3 times, the card will get blocked. And if candidate enters right pin, so what is the further process? So we can say that by applying break and continue loop, I have designed that ATM machine code.
Yeah, so you have used Python logic for implementing only this three
Implementing
part.
it is also eligible for the dispense all kind of dispenser machine, I think so. But if for other dispenser machine, you don't have to apply that limit. You can remove that limit for other
That's a
dispensers.
simple code, right? You didn't embed it with the ATM machine.
No, not. It's only code.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So you know Django. You've mentioned it.
Yes, sir. My project is under. You can say I'm still working on the project. I have designed a website. You can say that I have just completed with the front page, home page of the website using
So
Visual
Django, what's
Studio Code.
Django?
Yes, using
What's Django?
Django. Yes, sir.
Let's say I don't know about Django, so how will you explain me what is Django?
Sir, Django, Django is the framework. It's a framework. You know that there is a website you see that how it works. You click on something on let's say consider Amazon. If you click on the category, you will get the categories in that web page. But in the back of category, that web page, how it works, the structure, when you click something and you are entering in something in some other page. So this whole structure is nothing but the part of framework, and Django is a framework in itself.
No, it's not a part of framework. Django is a framework which helps you build a website. The reason it is
Website.
said a framework because many of the things are already provided by the Django framework,
Yes.
right? So when you make a website, you need to put different URLs. You need to have a different files. You have to link them again, and so on.
Yes.
But that hassle is avoided when you use Django. Simple. That is the answer,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
Okay. So what will be, how do you what is migration in Django? You must know migration, right?
Let me recall it.
Okay. So what is manage.py file?
Sir, manage.py, in manage.py files, we um, the settings.py and URL are inside that manage.py file, sir.
Inside that manage.py.
Yes, sir.
No,
views.url, settings.url, all the files are under that manage.py file.
no. You should open Django framework and tell me where the location is. Okay, let it be. Uh, what my suggestion is when you mention some things, they should be rock solid in resume. When you mention that, you should know everything about it. That at least, not of course, nobody's expecting you to learn entire Python and entire Django. But I have asked you very basic questions of Django. Anyone who has built a front, at least one page of whatever you said, knows what is migration, what is Django, what are views.py, what is the whereabouts, right? And manage.py and so on. So you should be very thorough with it. And the things you have mentioned in the resume, you should know it. Credit risk analysis, you just told the objective, right? And objective is not enough. A person expects that I get the data, I clean the data, divide it into train and test, and I train the data and test it with the test data. That's how what's a basic flow is. Then be ready for the answers. So all the things, the project should be done without an under supervision, and you should be thorough with it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And you have mentioned predict weather. So that weather which you have mentioned is weather for the environment. It should be WHETHER.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Right. So first of all, I got confused that in credit, why do we have a weather prediction? Right. So and developing a code for cash dispensing machine feels like you have embedded your code into some ATM and so on. Right?
Okay,
So I have a good different line for that.
okay.
Okay. So I guess that's it. So all the best.
Thank you, sir. And sir, one thing more about communication and where am I getting where am I lagging in this communication part?
Communication, I don't feel that you were underconfident. You were confident enough. But whenever you don't know any answer, don't let the interviewer wait. Just say you don't
Okay,
know.
okay,
Okay, it's a better answer. And secondly, your communication was lagging only because you didn't know the answer.
okay,
I didn't feel that you are not good at communicating. You're confident enough. Your face says it, but the knowledge is lacking. Once you
okay.
know everything about certain things, if you understand what is which, what is what, you spend some time on credit risk analysis, do it on your own self, and you make some errors. So anyway, it will be in your head, and you will be able to deliver it. So
Yes.
if I ask you some about some good movie which you have watched and which you have watched multiple times, that lag will not be there, right?
Okay,
Same thing happens here. Only I don't think you have a communication thing, right?
okay,
You look confident enough and you were able to explain. But the lag which you saw is only because you didn't know the answer. That's it. So I don't think so. It was good.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. You have mentioned technical assistant, engineer, R&D, right?
Yes,
Which you have written in which you have written assistant R&D head with new products used coordination. That is the job profile you have, right?
yes,
And secondly, you have written data analyst intern, and now you have written good understanding of built-in data types, good understanding of operations and control. So this shows the skills part. So you should have
yes,
mentioned what you do as a data analyst intern, right? So the sentence framing becomes incorrect right here itself.
okay.
Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, so now just give me in 2 minutes about what you know as a data analyst intern. What have you learned there?
Okay. Uh, my journey as a data analyst, as an intern, am I right, sir?
Yeah. What have you learned there? And what have you done?
Okay, okay. When I joined the ServiceNet company, the project was related to object detection, which is related to deep learning. So I use, they offer us, sir, told to research, do some research on deep learning and how can we uh, work on the object detection. So OpenCV library, we use OpenCV computer vision to do that object detection. After some time, I have also assisted the uh, one developer who was working on Python Django framework. Uh, and right now, there is some project related to text OCR, optical character recognition. Means from images we have to read the text from photos or document. That's also.
Okay. So you have used deep learning, right? So what is the
Yes.
difference between normalization and standardization of data?
Sorry, sir. I can't give
I didn't get your
exact. Hello.
yeah. What's your answer?
Sorry, sir. I can't explain you perfectly.
Okay.
Stand.
Okay. So can you give me a brief about KNN?
KN.
Okay. Uh,
Also.
sorry. That was about it was a classification algorithm. So,
Yes,
do you have any
supervised.
idea about algorithms used in machine learning?
Yes.
Okay. So, tell me some names.
Basically, there are two types: supervised and unsupervised. Supervised, where we can make a prediction, and supervised is also again classified into two types: regression and classification. So,
Hmm.
classification, as you said, KNN is an example of classification. SVM is also support vector, is also an example of classification. Linear regression is also an example of classification. The relation between the two data is linear in linear regression, and in
Okay.
unsupervised, and talking about unsupervised, uh, we can't predict the outcome from the data we already have, from the data inside. We use the uh, we use some techniques, means we use some techniques which will get some patterns which are available in that data sets, and accordingly we will make decisions.
So, what is the basic difference between the input data of supervised algorithms and unsupervised algorithms?
Unsupervised, we already use the uh, our history. If we have the particular data sets, we use the previous records and do some insights, and we can predict what can if I want to give you example. uh,
No. The basic difference is that in supervised we use labeled data, right? So we
okay,
know which
yes,
data we are using, and in supervised we use unlabeled data,
I'll label it.
right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, considering reading from your resume, so what are the built-in data types
In
of,
Python,
yeah?
building data types, there are integers, string. The main data types we use are list, tuple, dictionaries, set. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'll ask you a very famous question. What's the difference between list and tuple?
Okay, so list are basically the order collection of elements. Uh, Same list is tuple is also order collection of element, but these are immutable. List are mutable. We can change the elements. We can do operations on list.
Okay. Okay. So is set a mutable or a immutable data type?
Set is unordered. It's mutable.
Okay. So how much have you worked with pandas?
Uh, During in Python Academy.
Wherever. I
Yes.
mean, how much have you learned about pandas? That's it. In your personal or academy or wherever.
Uh, pandas are basically, panda library is basically used for pre-processing. Uh, like we use SQL to make some processing on the data. We can use the panda as for that same purpose.
Why? Where do we use SQL?
For querying, for doing
Yeah,
queries.
for querying, right? So how does it
Yes,
SQL
yes.
use used for pre-processing?
Sorry, I just used the wrong words.
Right. So pandas is not only used for pre-processing also. Pandas is
Say,
a very huge library which supports a lot of things.
Yes.
right? So what I felt was, you firstly, that data analyst intern, you should mention that you have done so and so projects and practiced so and so libraries and so on. So the it does not match, right? So the section which you have mentioned in data analyst intern should be into the skills section, as in if you are describing that. So the technical assistant
Okay.
engineer shows what you have done there. So similarly, whatever written inside data analyst intern should show what you have done there, right? So it doesn't match. Okay. Okay. So just few things. What's the difference between a list and a NumPy array?
List and numpy. In list, we can use different data types, but in case of numpy array, we only can use the same data types. Because we can only pass the same data types element.
Okay. Any other difference? Why do we prefer arrays? Where do we use arrays and where do we use lists?
List arrays. Arrays are basically use array. There are different type of one directional array, two directional, and three directional. The use is very big in machine learning.
NumPy.
NumPy, we use number. Yes, sir. We use NumPy for numeric Python, and we also use arrays with number.
Okay. So what is a series?
Series is one, as I said, one directional, and it is immutable. One
So
directional and
okay.
immutable.
So can you explain the meaning of a data frame?
Data frame. Okay. Data frame is two direction, and it is mutable. If we want to create a data frame, simply we use, if I use pandas as alias PD, then use PD dot data frame
No, you
and
should
then
say that
square
data
bracket.
frame is a data type which holds the data in
Okay.
2D
Okay.
format, right?
Okay.
So these are just properties which you're telling. So if I ask you what's water, you'll say it's transparent and this that. These are just properties of it. But what exactly it is? That's the question.
Okay.
Right? So that was missing again. So what? And you started with OpenCV at the beginning. So when you mention
Yes.
projects like these, there are hundreds of questions on OpenCV. So only
Okay.
mention that when you are completely ready with that, right? Though
Okay.
because when you get huge data in OpenCV or any project, you normalize the data. So the first question I asked was what is normalization? So you should have known that. So the topics which you're strong in should be mentioned earlier.
Okay. Okay, sir.
I'm just telling you so that you could answer them confidently, and then you can say that
Okay.
basics of OpenCV I have done.
Okay.
Okay, so
Actually, about opens, actually talking about OpenCV, as I said, I joined the ServiceNet company as an intern. So basically, at starting, they just give us a normal task related to OpenCV. So that's why I don't have the detailed knowledge about
ServiceNet
OpenCV.
company. Which company?
Yes.
I mean, is it mentioned in the resume?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Actually, I'm currently now working as an intern in ServiceNet.
Actually, it's not mentioned. That's why I asked.
Okay, so I think the resume you have way is not recent.
Yeah, that's
I
why I asked.
will.
I asked about Springboard.
Okay. Okay.
So you said OpenCV. That's why I'm confused.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, okay. That's fine. Then if you have just started, then you can say that. Fine. But still, you need to, whatever you have mentioned in the resume is something which you should be thorough with.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what one thing. Change the description below data analyst intern. And so your certification name is Python Data Analytics Professional, right?
Yes.
So it's not Data Analytics Professional Training. Just check
Yes.
that name also. It's mentioned in your resume that it's Python Data Analytics Professional Training. So it seems as if you were the trainer.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. Just check your certificate once and put that name.
Okay. Okay. I'm sure.
And you have mentioned reliable intern studying data analytics seeks an internship to expand skills and gain valuable. So it contradicts, right? So you're already an intern, then why are you seeking opportunity again for an intern, right? So
So,
it sounds like third party. So change that sentence framing also.
oh,
So offer strong interpersonal and task prioritization skills. As if you are introducing someone else. It feels like that, right? It may or
okay.
may not be okay. That doesn't. But the gist says reliable intern studying data analytics seeks an internship. So again, an internship. Why they would say why not job? And people will grind you over there, right?
Uh,
So
actually,
you have
sir,
to change that.
uh,
Okay, keep on.
actually, Sanket sir asked me to make a resume because there was an internship vacancy. That's why
Mhm.
I added that.
Okay, okay. But still, again, the current intern also says something,
Okay.
right? So you can say I'm currently looking for internship. This and these are my skills, and these
Okay.
are my strong points. Please, something else, whatever. You can just have a look
Okay.
around how the objectives are.
Okay.
Okay, okay then. All the best for your career.
Thank you, sir.